Hello everyone, my name is Shadab Siddiqui. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Madan Mohan Malviya, University of Technology. In this lecture, we are going to study the limitations of conventional active devices at microwave frequency. So now let us begin with this limitations. So the conventional active devices or vacuum tubes such as triode, tetrode and pentode are less useful signal source at frequencies above 1 gigahertz, that is at high frequency, because of the following reason. So these limitations, first limitation is lead inductance, second inter-electrode capacitance, transit angle effect, gain bandwidth product, radiation losses, dielectric losses, skin effect. So to understand this, take an example of triode, which is having three terminal: plate, gate, grid and cathode. So lead inductance is the inductance which is present at the electrode. So let us assume here a cathode which is having some inductance which is present here, and inductance is having value of L. So what should be XL? XL should be equal to 2 pi FL. So if you increase the frequency, your XL value will be increased. Now take a point here which is A and take a point B here. So what is the voltage across A and what is the voltage across B? The voltage across A is somewhere, maybe you take an example 10 volt. There will be a voltage drop at this XL because frequency is high and XL is high. So that means VA should be greater than VB. That means if you apply 10 volt, you will get some maybe 5 volt, 6 volt or 7 volt maybe. There will be less voltage. Before lead inductance, the voltage you were applying was 10 volt and directly coming to this triode and taking some gain and coming to the output. But after this lead inductance, your gain will be, your voltage will be at this terminal will be less. That means your efficiency will be drastically decreased. So to reduce this, one can take L is equal to small l upon mu into area. So one can say, so we can increase area. To reduce L, we can increase area, we can decrease length. So if you increase area, that will become bulky and that will also be contradictory stage. Now there is an inter-electrode capacitance. So inter-electrode capacitance defines the capacitance which exists between two electrodes. So let us assume this is the electrode grid and this is the cathode terminal. So between this we have CGK and we have these two, so we get CGP. Similarly here also. So what should be the XC? XC is equal to 1 upon 2 pi FC. You can see here, if you increase the frequency, your XC will decrease. Suppose you are applying some voltage at the grid terminal and you are taking the output from plate. If your frequency is high, your XC will decrease. That means this will act as a short circuit. So XC is less at some time at very high frequency, your XC will be 0 and it will act as a short circuit. So whatever input is applied without gain, you are getting the output. So one can say we can reduce the C value at high frequency, so XC can be increased. So you have C is equal to epsilon A upon D. This says area of the plate, this says D, distance between the plate. So if you reduce C value, you need to reduce area, we need to increase D value. But that will be the contradictory stage. Here says A will be increased, here says A will be decreased. You can see also in the next one, transit angle effect. Here says D should be increased, but transit angle effect says D should be decreased. So if you take the transit angle effect or transit time effect, transit angle means theta g, that should be as minimum as possible. Theta g should be equal to omega into tau g. Tau g is equal to transit time effect. Transit time, definition of transit time is time taken by the carrier to travel from one electrode to the another electrode. So this is omega, and time is equal to distance upon velocity. So we have d distance between the plate. So this will become d, and we have velocity. We have assumed the carrier velocity will be v naught. So you can see here, to reduce this theta g, because theta g should be as minimum as possible, you need to reduce d value and you need to increase the v value. As above 1 gigahertz at high frequency, your omega will be high, so drastically theta g will be increased. But to have a better efficiency of the triode, theta g should be as minimum as possible. So we'll see one by one in detail, but this is a quick review, this is a quick analysis of this effect. Now next we have gain bandwidth product. So gain bandwidth product, AV into bandwidth, that should be equal to GM upon C. So this says gain bandwidth product is limited to GM by C. Now you can see here, bandwidth for the high frequency above 1 gigahertz, your bandwidth will be high. That means your gain should be reduced. So that means your gain is reduced, that means your performance of the triode will be decreased. So you can see here, gain bandwidth is equal to GM upon C. This is independent of frequency. That means this is independent of frequency. So to achieve higher gain, we need to minimize the bandwidth. This restrict the application. Okay. So to avoid this limitation, we go for reentrant cavity or slow wave structure. Now we have radiation losses. Radiation losses says all these terminal of the triode, it is act as an antenna and that will radiate. Okay, so there will be radiation losses. Now we have a dielectric losses. So you can see here in triode we have some gap. So in that gap we have a dielectric constant. In that dielectric constant we have some dielectric permittivity. Okay, so there will be a dielectric loss due to that. Now we have skin effect. So skin effect, you can see if you increase omega value, means frequency, the current which is passing through the wire or passing through the triode, let us say we have this wire. So all the current which is coming to the surface of the conductor, this is the cross section of the conductor. So current will go towards the perimeter of the metal. Now that will not allow signal to pass through the conductor. Okay. So that is the limitation. We will see one by one in detail. Okay. So now we have lead inductance and inter-electrode capacitance. So at high frequency, conventional tubes are limited by parasitic circuit reactances because the circuit capacitance between tube electrode and the circuit inductance of the lead wire are too large for a microwave resonance circuit. As you can see here, the triode is mentioned, we have a plate, grid and cathode. So voltage between grid and cathode is Vg and the inductance present at the cathode is Lk. This is the resonance circuit. Equivalent circuit of this is drawn here. So in order to have a better understanding of this effect, this is equivalent circuit of triode under some assumption that the inter-electrode capacitances and cathode inductance are the only parasitic element. So now we can see CGP is much less than CGK. This is an assumption, and omega Lk is much less than 1 upon omega CGK. This is an assumption. So to have this assumption, we will find input voltage Vin. So Vin should be equal to, you can see here, Vg plus Vk. This is Vg plus Vk. This is the input voltage. Now this can also be written as Vg plus Vk, means we have the current source which is coming here, Gm into Vg. So this will be Vg plus omega j omega Lk into Gm Vg. We have assumed that the Rp is very high, okay, and this Gm Vg is directly coming to Lk. Now the input current that can be written as In is equal to j omega C Gk into Vg, j omega Cgk into Vg. This is the input voltage. So you can see input In is coming, and we have taken an assumption that Cgp is much less than Cgk. So all the current which is coming to In, that will directly come to here. So to have this In and Vin, we can write here. So Y in admittance is equal to In upon Vin. So this can be written as j omega Cgk divided by 1 plus j omega Lkgm. So after solving this term, we can find, so this Yin will be equal to omega square Lk into Cgk into Gm plus j omega Cgk. So we'll use these assumption, okay, and we'll take that omega Lk Gm is much less than 1. We'll take an assumption, okay. So we have Yin is equal to this one. This is called conductance and this is called susceptance, okay. So 1 upon conductivity, 1 upon conductance is equal to impedance. So we can find Zin is equal to, or maybe real part of Zin should be equal to 1 upon omega square, and imaginary part of Zin is directly proportional to 1 upon omega q. This is a real part. So we can see at high frequency, maybe above 1 gigahertz, your Zin value will be very less, and this will act as a short circuit. That means whatever input is applied, that is directly coming to the output, there is no gain at all, okay. So there are several ways to minimize the inductance and capacitance effect, such as reduction in lead length and electrode area. This minimization, however, also limits the power handling capacity. So as we have seen in previous slide, that we can reduce the area of the electrode and length of the electrode can be increased. So, but this will drastically reduce the power handling capacity. Now the next limitation is transit angle effect. Transit angle effect or transit time effect. So this is defined as theta g is equal to omega into tau g, and this can be written as omega into d by v naught. Already I have discussed. So where tau is equal to transit time effect, okay, and d is equal to separation between cathode and grid. So you can see here v naught can be written as 0.593 into 10 to the power 6 to a square root of v naught. This is potential. So this can be found out using kinetic energy should be equal to static energy, which is kinetic energy is equal to half m v naught square, that is the carrier moving from one electrode to the another electrode, and static energy, whatever the input is which is applied to the carrier, whatever potential which is applied to the carrier. So to have this, we can find v naught should be equal to square root of 2e upon m into v naught, okay. So after substituting E value, the electronic charge and mass of the electron, we can find the 0.593 into 10 to the power 6 into square root of V0. As transit angle is directly proportional to the frequency, okay. So below microwave range, the transit angle is negligible because frequency will be less. And at microwave frequency, the transit angle or maybe transit time is large as compared to the period of microwave signals. So now what is the problem at high frequency? If we talk about low frequency, the carrier have enough time to cross the grid. Okay. So let us take a triode example, and we have the grid, we have the plate, and we have the cathode, and let us take partition of these two. So at low frequency, the carrier have enough time to cross the grid and they will be able to reach the plate. But when we talk about high frequency, the input cycle is changing so fast that when the electrons are moved from the cathode towards the grid, so which is moving from cathode towards the grid, they are moving under positive cycle, and as soon as they reach the grid, the cycle of the grid has been changed and it becomes negative. Because of that, there will be a repulsive force from the grid to electron and this will start moving back to the cathode. Because of this, the time taken by the electron moving from cathode to the plate will be increased, and when the transit time of the carrier will be increased, the frequency of operation will be decreased. Okay. Apart from that, it will also affect the efficiency of the tube, and theta g should be as minimum as possible. So this concludes that overall result of the transit angle effect is to reduce the operating efficiency of the vacuum tube. The transit angle effect can be minimized by first accelerating the electron beam with a very high DC voltage and then velocity modulating it. Okay, so this is the basic principle operation of some microwave tube, such as maybe klystron and magnetron. Okay, now we have the limitation which is called gain bandwidth product. Okay, so gain bandwidth product means we have AV gain and we have bandwidth. Okay, in ordinary vacuum tubes, the maximum gain may be generally achieved by resonating the output circuit. So we will take some example of triode. So we have maybe a circuit. So to understand this gain bandwidth product, we have taken example of triode, an equivalent circuit after some assumption. So we have this resonant circuit RLC, and this is the plate resistance, this is current, so GM into VG. So assume that RP is much greater than omega LK. So the load voltage VL should be equal to GM into VG divided by capital G plus J into omega C minus 1 upon omega into L. I think this should be VL, load voltage. Okay, so this is what should be the G. GM VG is already mentioned, omega C L is already mentioned, and we have assumed that RP is much greater than omega LK. So what should be the value of G? So we have G, which is equal to 1 upon Rp plus 1 upon R. Rp is a plate resistance, capital R is equal to load resistance, and L and C may be tuning circuit element. So at resonant frequency, what should be Fr? Fr is equal to 1 by 2 pi root under Lc, this resonant circuit. So the maximum voltage gain Amax is equal to Gm upon Gm upon G, and the bandwidth. So bandwidth is measured at half power point. So capital G should be equal to omega C minus 1 upon omega into L. At half power point, this should be, real part and imaginary part should be equal. So this is, maybe after solving this, you can find omega square LC minus omega into L into G minus 1 is equal to 0. We will get quadratic equation. So after solving this quadratic equation, we will get two value of omega. So that will be omega 1, which is equal to G by 2C minus square root of G by 2C whole square plus 1 upon LC. And this omega 2 should be equal to G by 2C plus square root of G by 2C whole square plus 1 upon LC. So you can find the bandwidth between these two omega. So you can find the bandwidth which is called omega 2 minus omega 1. Therefore bandwidth is equal to omega 2 minus omega 1, and you can find the bandwidth. So you will get nearly equal to G by C under some assumption that you assume that G by 2C whole square, assume G by 2C is much greater than 1 upon LC. So we have ignored this term. Okay. So now we have gain and we have bandwidth. So now the product of this should be gain bandwidth product should be equal to AV into bandwidth, which is equal to GM by capital G into G by C. So you can find GM by C. This is independent of frequency. Okay. So already I have discussed another effect, that was radiation losses. So the terminal of triode at high frequency will act as a antenna. Electrode will act as an antenna and starts radiating. So there will be radiation loss, radiating. Another one was dielectric loss. So one can see the dielectric loss in the vacuum tube, or maybe triode, tetrode or pentode. There will be a dielectric constant or dielectric material. So because of that dielectric material, there will be dielectric loss. Okay. So another one is skin effect. All metal radiate in free space. Like if I say I have a wire like this, if I see the cross section of it, so at microwave frequency current will allow, or at the perimeter, flow at the perimeter of metal, and at center, if I see the cross section of it, like you can say the cross section of it, so at microwave frequency current will flow on the perimeter of this metal, and at the center there will be a current density which is less, because all the carrier which is circulating at the perimeter. As you increase the frequency, this metal surface starts to radiate, and which will not allow to flow current to pass through the conductor. Okay. So this is all about the limitation of vacuum tube or maybe conventional devices at frequency above 1 GHz. Thank you for the listening.